All right. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk here tonight on this Friday night, September 9th, 2022. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world right now. Uh, Tiafo in tennis is playing Alcaraz, who's ranked number three. And they're in a tiebreak set right now, trying to force a fifth and final set. So a tiebreaker game, I should say, trying to force a fifth and final set. So it's been a heck of a tennis match they have going on right now here. But got a lot going on. Joined by always by the sports judge Jonathan Mathis. How you doing tonight, Judge?
What's going on, man? What's going on out there, everyone? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is great. Man, we finally are seeing some rain for the first time in a very long time, Gonzo. We haven't had that much rain, as you know. We've been in a water drought, and that's something that's very common here. But Tropical Storm K hits, SoCal, causing winds up to 100 miles per hour, and then we have intense rain. It's actually raining outside right now. I was out there earlier, felt really nice, still humid as hell, but felt nice for a change that there's some water, dropping from the sky. A beautiful feeling. However, there was a rain delay before the game actually got started in San Diego tonight, because the Dodgers are down in San Diego playing the San Diego Padres. How are you doing, my friend? How's everything with you?
Oh, doing good, man. Getting settled back in to got all my equipment set back up, ready to go.
Nice.
Ready for
Nice.
ready for Colts game on Sunday. Finally get to watch some Colts football.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then we also tomorrow, big UFC. If you're a UFC fan, I'm sure you've seen the news today that the whole card basically got changed. Chimaev was supposed to be in the main event against Nate Diaz, and he didn't make weight. He was 7.5 pounds overweight. So what they end up doing, I figured that he would. What they usually do is he fights, and then some of his purse goes to the other guy. But they end up changing three different fights around. Now the main event is going to be Tony Ferguson against Nate Diaz. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out. They had to cancel a press conference yesterday because of some fighting and stuff going on backstage. So it seems like the UFC having a little trouble getting everybody on the same page.
You know what? It looks like I've been in a UFC fight. I don't know if you noticed, because my lip is a bit bigger than usual. It looks swollen, but I got a cold sore that has, made its way to my lip, and it's very unattractive. I'm pretty sure most of you guys can see it. No, I didn't get busted in the mouth. I wasn't in a fight. I just got a cold sore coming in. And I'm trying to get rid of it because I do not like it on my face. It's ugly.
He said, I do not like it on my face.
I don't like it on my face. I don't like any type of pimple or cold sore or blackhead. I try my hardest to treat it so it goes away.
Oh, yeah. You have to try to get rid of it as quick as you can. I understand that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we've had a lot going on. We'll start by what happened yesterday, and then we'll get into what's going on today and what's going on the next day. But I know you didn't have a good time. Well, it's probably bittersweet for you because football was back. But I know the game didn't go near how you thought it would. And to be honest with you, it could have been worse. Should have been worse. I mean, if you think about it, the Rams really shouldn't have scored no points last night in that game the way they played. The points they got in the first half was all off Buffalo turnovers. I was sitting here watching the game with my dad, and I told him, I said, Buffalo's messing up because they're letting the Rams stay in this game. They should be up by like 20 now, and they're going into halftime. They could be in trouble, but then in the second half, the Rams just got dominated in the second half. And it was crazy because here in the second half, they were getting dominated off the line. I mean, the Bills was running the ball down their throat. And I wasn't expecting that to happen. So I know it's only one game. You can't overreact. But the Bills looked awfully damn good, and the Rams looked like they have a lot of work to do.
Right. And, they were fortunate. The Rams were very fortunate to go into halftime tied. The game was tied 10-10 going into halftime.
They should have been down 24
right.
nothing.
Since then, they weren't able to score anything else after halftime. They couldn't get into the end zone. The defense was on the field more often than not. Matthew Stafford reverted back to the Matthew Stafford of old. Matthew Stafford who can't take care of the damn football. We saw that last night. And, a part of that was because, Chris, Matthew Stafford hasn't played a ton of spring training. And we also know that he's dealing with an elbow injury. Now, my question is, how severe is the elbow injury? Sean McVay called the injury up normal. He called it a weird injury, one that's tricky and kind of hard to figure out. So we really don't know. And I know it's only one game, and like you said, we can't overreact. But there are people overreacting because these are the defending champs. And they just weren't ready to play a football game. They didn't show up. It was a terrible night. I
know they didn't show up to block Von Miller, because Von Miller was doing whatever the hell he wanted that whole game.
He was pretty much dictating the flow of the game. Well, defensively, he was harassing his former teammate Matthew Stafford. He was able to, manipulate the Rams passing game. The Rams struggled all night long. They couldn't really get enough going offensively. And we all know the Rams have this offensive firepower, right? The Rams can put up a ton of points. We saw that last season. Matthew Stafford led the team to a Super Bowl. He had a breakout year with his new team, but the Rams offensive line is different this year. They don't have Andrew Whitworth. They look different, on that O-line. Things are going to have to get better, though. The Rams are going to have to turn it around. I think they will make the adjustments necessary. Sean McVay, he took all responsibility for the team's shortcomings last night, for the team's terrible performance. You heard him in the press conference. He put all the blame on his shoulders, and that's a heavy burden for one person, but he feels that he could have put his team in a better position to win the ball game. But Matthew Stafford, man, he turned over the ball 3 times. He threw 3 interceptions in the game. And I talked about it after the game. To me, this was the Detroit Rams, not the LA Rams. This was the Detroit Rams. And it was just pitiful. It was tough to watch. Now, although Matthew Stafford had a pretty horrific night, because his performance was horrendous, having 3 interceptions in the game, I thought Cooper Kupp played fairly well. I thought he had a decent outing last night. He showcased his talent once again. Excellent route runner. One of the best receivers in the game. Everyone was talking about the matchup between him and Stephon Diggs coming into the game. I know I was making a big deal about that. So, Cooper Kupp, man, you could believe in the hype surrounding him because he is the real deal. This guy is versatile. He makes plays. He has nice hands. He's crafty. He has the nifty footwork, and we saw that last night, he gave us his best demonstration when he made one hell of a catch in the back of the end zone and was able to keep his feet in bounds. It was just incredible. It was sensational. And how about Jaylen Ramsey? You know, falling on a play. You know, getting blown out of coverage. Couldn't stay in front of the receiver. You know, let the receiver blow by him. Jaylen Ramsey is going to have to step up in that secondary and be the anchor in that secondary. And Donald's going to have to step his game up, play a lot better than what he did last night. It's going to take a total team effort. You know, I know it's only one game. I mean, you can't judge after one game. You can't make observations after one game. Let's see how well the Rams, because the Rams have bounced back in the past from, you know, terrible performances. So let's see what happens in week 2. Let's see if they can get it together, make those adjustments, you know, get in the film room, watch some film, really study things, break it down, and see what they can do better. But it all starts with Matthew Stafford playing a cleaner game. He's got to play a cleaner game. And I thought watching this game, it felt like I was watching a JV high school team play, because both of these teams were horrible in the first half. Both of these teams were turning over the football. It was very sloppy play from both teams. You know, the Buffalo Bills, they didn't play their best football in the first half, but they did manage to outduel and outplay, you know, and do things better than what the Rams did. You know, and we saw that. And Josh Allen, man, he's just a beast. He's a phenomenal beast. You know, we know that about him, right? I think now is the time to take him more seriously if you didn't already. Because a lot of people, you have people out there who's not a firm believer in him. I actually am. I think he's a damn good quarterback. Hell, I think he's the top-ranked quarterback in the NFL. He showed that last night. Did you see the opening drive? How impressive was that? I mean, that was flawless. That was just that was right there. That was perfection. What we saw in that opening drive from you know, Josh Allen and company. And they looked good. And like you said, they was just running the ball down the Rams' throat. And the Rams are going to have to, that's another thing they're going to have to work on. They're going to have to be able to slow down the running game, because they can't let teams, especially run-heavy offenses, they can't let them run the ball down their throat, or it's going to be some long afternoons and some long nights for the Rams. But the Rams, man, they got blown out. I thought it was utterly embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. But I'm not gonna really overreact. I'm not gonna panic too much, because it was only one game. And let's see how they respond.
Yeah. To me, though, I don't even. Well, before I get into what I thought about last night's game, quick update on the U.S. Open. Tifo won that, ended up winning the tiebreaker, forcing the 5th and final set. So it's but he just
nice.
he just lost the first game of the set. Like I said, Alcaraz is the 3rd-ranked player. But Tifo's he's playing good, some pretty good tennis. He got off to a rocky start, but he's put it together and been able to compete. But with the Rams, don't get me wrong, Stafford didn't look his best, but I don't think Stafford was the main problem. I think the biggest problem for the Rams last night was the offensive and defensive lines. They let Buffalo control the line of scrimmage. And I know you've heard this, but any coach will tell you, when it comes down to a football game, whoever wins on the offensive line and between offensive line and defensive line, that's who's going to win the game. Whoever can win up front, move, get the other team moving backwards. And last night, the Bills could move the Rams about anywhere they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I was talking earlier, if it wasn't for a lot of Buffalo Bills mistakes in that first half, the Rams could have very easily been down 24 to 30 points at halftime.
Yeah, there was a lot of mental errors
But in
from
the
both
second
teams.
half, the
Right.
Bills really tightened it up, and the Rams just couldn't get going. Like I said, it's the first game, so it could be you can't overreact, but they're going to have to get more physical up front because you let teams get after you on the up there on the line like that, it's going to make for a long day for your team. And Stafford, I'm not worried about Stafford's elbow because he had dealt with something like this before, back when he was in Detroit. But you can see a couple throws he threw high that were tipped, and that was the other thing on a couple of them interceptions. It wasn't like they were just like were terrible, terrible throws. Like that one got tipped at the line of scrimmage, went straight up in there, and the lineman got it. I mean, so those happen sometimes. Now there was a couple that were just like, man, where are you throwing the ball? But the other interception was because the ball sailed high on him. And then Josh Allen, man, Josh Allen just looked good. He made a throw in that third quarter on the run to his right. It was that touchdown pass, one where Diggs fell and still caught it. What a throw, dude. He was on the run to his right, jumped up in the air when he threw the ball. He went, his foot wasn't even on the ground when he threw a ball and threw a freaking strike. And I thought Diggs was going to fuck it up because he kind of tripped there, but still the ball was thrown so well it hit him right. It still hit him right in the
I remember that. I actually remember that series, by the way, and that was
he was off the ground when he threw that ball.
Yeah, and that play was well executed, by the way. Yep. But that's what Josh Allen does best, right? He can't control.
It looked like a flick of the wrist.
He can control the offense by using his feet, and that's what he does so well. He hurts you in a variety of ways because he has the arm strength, so he can hit his receivers down the field. He can also extend plays by using his feet, and he could buy time. And he comes up with these sensational plays. It's amazing to watch. He's a human highlight reel when you watch this guy. And this is a guy who also uses his speed. Last night we saw it. This guy was nasty. He was, just amazing. Just amazing. And he was physical. He pretty much dictated the flow of the game.
Yeah, like we were talking. Other than a couple mistakes in the first half, he played about a perfect game. Right.
And he was able to manipulate the passing game, which he does so well as well. So, I mean, everything was working for Josh Allen.
Oh, but Buffalo
didn't say the same.
I'll tell you what, Buffalo stays healthy. Everybody in the AFC better watch out because if they can run the ball like they did last night, they are going to be a dangerous ass team on offense because if Singletary gets going like he did last night, and I got to give Singletary some props. I know a lot of people have been, I don't know how good Singletary is. I think Buffalo needs to get another running back. They're not strong enough at running back. No,
they're not.
They just didn't give Singletary enough touches a lot of times. But dude, he was running that ball physical last night, and if they get that kind of play out of him, and he's out of him this year, that offense is going to be scary. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball. I mean, look what they done to that Rams offense last night. Yeah, Cooper Kupp had a good game, but that was the only person that really stood out on that offense. And it wasn't like Kupp killed him, but I mean,
it's not that much of a surprise though, Chris, because last year the Bills.
Yeah, a lot of people thought they were the best team last year, and they lost.
The Bills were first in defense. Yeah. And they're doing all of this without one of their best defensive backs, Tre'Davious White.
Yep,
he's still out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they didn't have the best. They didn't have the best guys in the secondary.
Right, and that handed the Bills last season a significant blow when he went down. But they still have a pretty good secondary. They have two of the best safeties in the league, and Micah Hyde. And then you have Jordan Poyer, who had excellent games last night. Now, I also felt like this, too. If Matthew Stafford had attacked those two safeties by just airing the ball out, because we all know that Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer But
The
we
problem
all
with that
know
was his off. Problem with that, Judge, is the offensive line wasn't giving them time to try to air it out down the field.
that's true. That's true. But if he was able to air it out, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, they sometimes they could be a little vulnerable.
Yeah.
And sometimes they let, the receivers get by them. And once they're in open field, we all know how dangerous the Rams wideouts can be. You have Cooper Kupp. But here was another disappointing thing. You have Allen Robinson now, and he was only targeted once in the entire game. He only saw one ball come his way for the entire game. You got to get him more engaged in the offense.
But was that his fault? Was that his fault, or was that their fault for not getting engaged enough, or was he not creating separation?
It goes back to the line. But I felt Cooper Kupp got more targets than anybody else. But Cooper Kupp,
of course, he's going to. He's best. He's their best player.
He's the best player, and that's what I was getting to. He's just special. The guy can create his own separation and make plays with his feet. Yeah. That's just how good he is. So he's on a different level than everyone else in that Rams receiving room. But the Rams will miss Robert Woods. Remember, they traded him during the offseason. And I don't think Van Jefferson played last night. So, I mean, you didn't really have a lot of options in that receiving room. The Rams running game, I feel like, has to get a little stronger. I think they need to go back to the basics, which is running the football. I think that would be Matthew Stafford's security blanket. Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson. I think you gotta give them more touches and let them do their thing and try to move the chains. And then that would allow Sean McVay to get more creative and get more cute with the offense. Then he could start playing with all of his other fancy toys, which are the receivers and the quarterback that they have in Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on and talk some more NFL, we did have something going on in the NBA, which I wanted to talk a little bit about. This NBA is going to do an expansion. They have a Seattle Supersonics, and I guess they're putting a team in Las Vegas as well.
Good.
I think this is a good thing. I'm glad they're putting a team back in Seattle. I miss having the Supersonics. Actually, first NBA game I ever went to in my life was the Indiana Pacers versus the Seattle Supersonics. The first NBA game I ever went to live. We got to see Sean Kemp play because, of course, Sean Kemp's from Indiana. We got to see him play there because he was with Seattle. Gary Payton, and of course, my boy Reggie Miller. But I was a Pacer fan. I remember seeing Seattle. I remember this dunk that Kemp done. I'll never forget it. He went baseline, came up under the rim, and reversed it on the other side. And I was like, "Damn, he's a bad dude." But I mean, it was cool getting to see them live. I'm glad. And Seattle's been wanting a team. They're a team that they have a fan base that'll show up. So I'm glad they're getting a team. And in Vegas, it was just a matter of time with everything that's going on now in Vegas. It was just a matter of time because all the other major sports teams are getting teams in Vegas. So it was just a matter of time before the NBA did. I mean, you got NFL over there. I would say they're probably going to put a baseball team somewhere around there here before too long. I wouldn't be surprised. You got WNBA. So a lot of leagues are starting to expand to Vegas. So, which a lot of that's due to the sports betting getting legalized in is legal now. I think 35 of the 50 states. So it should be. I think it's going to be interesting. Stat guy says that Minnesota and Memphis were moved to the East. 4-team divisions with Chicago, Minnesota, Milwaukee, and Detroit in one. Indiana, Cleveland, Memphis, and Washington in another. Okay, that'd be cool. But no, what do you think about the NBA expanding?
Well, it's been reported for months now that the league was interested in expanding America's playground. And Las Vegas is one of those attractive cities, right? It's the mecca of sports in a sense because you have the casinos, you have sports betting going on, and it's just a great city to have a sports team. I knew it was only a matter of time before this becomes a four major sports team market, and we're seeing it. Vegas is already the home to an NHL team, to an NFL team, and then very soon MLB will follow as well. I think the Oakland A's are next to relocate to Las Vegas. But this is great to hear the news about the expansion of two NBA teams. It's great. Vegas is a great sports city. I think the fans have really, really, you know, enjoyed the two teams that they have now, the Golden Knights and the Vegas Raiders. Nice stadium there. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz surrounding it. It's just a great city. It's a great sports market to have a sports team there, to have an NBA team there. So I like it. I also like the fact that the Supersonics are going to come back. That Seattle's been longing for a NBA team, and rightfully so. I mean, they're that's a wonderful fan base, and Seattle's a great sports city too. And I have been saying it for a very long time. That's Seattle and those fans in the Pacific Northwest was well deserving of an NBA team, and they're going to get their wish. They're going to get the Supersonics back. How great is that? And they also renovated that arena that they played in back in the day. So, it's great. Seattle is going to be a four major sports market now because you have the Mariners, you have the Seahawks, you have the new hockey team, the Kraken, and now you're going to add the expansion team, the Supersonics. So it's great.
All right. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I mean, hell, I love a sports. So anytime you're adding to sports, it's just a good thing. I mean, I mean, there ain't many things that you can add to sports as long as you're not adding some stupid rules. Speaking of rules, before because we'll talk about NFL Sunday coming up here in just a minute, but Major League Baseball going to change some rules. They're going to add the pitching clock into the major league game that they've been trying out the last year or so in the minors. They're going to do away with the shift. I have mixed feelings about that. There was a couple other rules too. I'll look at back up here in a minute. But what's your thoughts on these rules that Major League Baseball is going to change?
Man, MLB passed a sweeping set of rules today. Uh, you know, this is in efforts to fundamentally overhaul the game of baseball. And they're confident,
Wait, stop. They're not
but
trying. Wait a minute, Judge. Wait a minute, Judge. They're not trying to fundamentally reinvent baseball. All they're worried about is trying to make a baseball game faster. That's all they care about. The only rules they want to change in baseball is rules to make the game faster.
and hey, I'm all for it. I mean,
That's not a fundamentally overhaul. That's just a
to
bunch
me
of guys
it
that don't
is.
know nothing about baseball that want to take
To
away from the
me,
game.
to me, it's an overhaul. I mean, it's going to change the game tremendously because now you're going to speed things up. You're going to make things a lot faster. Now you might actually attract more people to actually want to tune in
A
and
game
watch.
that lasts 4 hours might last
I
30
don't
minutes,
think
3
I don't
hours and
think
50 minutes.
I don't think you agree with me on this because I
You
don't
might
think
get lucky if there's 10 minutes, if a game's 10 minutes shorter.
But not all change is bad. I mean, this could be good for Major League Baseball. Like I said, this can
I mean, we'll see.
attract more people to actually want to watch. More people might actually be engaged in the game of baseball. But I like it.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about the pitch clock. I get it. Like they want an up tempo game. They want the game to be faster. It will be a faster pace now. I think what it does, it allows the game to be more enjoyable for the fans, you know. And at the end of the day, Chris, you're laughing, but hey, at the end of the day, this is it's entertainment.
But that's the thing. If that's what I'm saying. If they want to get new fans, this ain't the way to do it. Learn how to market your game. Market your game. We don't say no. We need to make it as fast as we can. That's going to get more people to watch. Just because you make it faster doesn't exactly mean people are going to watch. You got to promote the game and get the game out there. Is how you grow the game and get more fans. Not by let's just start cutting stuff.
Why not have the best of both worlds though? If you can. You know, this has been long tested.
How do we know shortening the game? How do we know shortening the game is good for the game?
What was that?
How do we know that shortening the game is good for the game? Because you said it's the best of both worlds. We don't know if shortening the game is going to be good for the game. People have
short attention spans now.
But that's their fault. The players out there playing the game.
I think you just want the old school traditional type of baseball. That's what I'm getting from you.
No, it's not that. It's just okay. A football game. How long does a football game last? About 3 hours, 3.5 hours, somewhere in there. A baseball game, in actuality, don't last too much longer than the other sports. Like a football game, most of the time. Yes, you get some of these marathon baseball games, but you're going to have that. But I don't know, man. Like out doing away with the shift. Well, to me, that's strategy. That's what, and baseball is a game of strategy. You're taking strategy away from the game.
Right.
Just like when they changed the pitcher rule where you have to pitch at least to 3 batters. I didn't care that didn't bother me as much because now the managers had to use more strategy because if you put that guy in there, I can't just put him in there and pitch to this left-hander. He's going to have to pitch these 2 right-handers that bat behind the guy. So now that makes the manager have to use more strategy on who they're going to pitch and when they're going to pitch it. So I didn't have a problem with that change. But just to say we need to make the game faster.
The shift is effective in what it does. It is effective.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they should have changed it.
From a defensive standpoint, right? But fans want to see hits. They want to see the ball being put
hit the ball where nobody's at.
And to me, by having but to me, by having a middle outfielder, because that's basically what the second baseman or the shortstop becomes, they become a middle outfielder when they move over into the shift. By doing that, you don't always see what talent you have in your player.
Oh, come on.
You don't. You do. By taking away the shift, you can see. You can see.
How by taking away the shift can you see more talent? I gotta hear this.
You will see more talent. Trust me, because these players, these athletes can showcase their talents now. These shortstop.
Why couldn't they showcase their? Why does it matter where you're standing on the field to showcase your talents, Judge?
Because when you are not in the shift, and when you're in your normal position, you have a chance to make plays.
You have a chance to make a play no matter where you stand out on the field.
I think this
come on.
I don't think this rule is going to hurt Major League Baseball as much as people think it will.
This is you say you don't like analytics, right?
I don't like analytics.
This is analytics messing with baseball, man.
Oh man, I'm not making a big deal about it.
Next thing they're going to do is they're going to let a computer. They're going to let a computer decide who comes out of the bullpen. Now, come on.
But do you see my point?
If I have two guys playing on the right side of the second base, and I'm up at the plate, hit the ball where there ain't nobody. It's strategy. They're taking because that defense. Everybody saying, "Oh, it's an advantage." How's it an advantage? Because they're taking a chance. They're moving that guy over here, predicting where you're going, trying to predict where you're going to hit the ball. They don't know if they're going to predict right. You could hit right in that gap. There's nothing saying it ain't like since he moved, you can't hit it in that part of the field. I mean, there's strategy both ways. Just because players can't hit that part of the field, why should we take that away? So now can we take away a DH? Because that's not fair to the defense that somebody can just bat and don't have to play the rest of the game.
Man, I'm okay with the rule changes though. But hey, look, by adding the pitch clock, you know, it limits the disengagements with the mound, you know, and it does speed up the game. So I do like that, you know, so you won't see pitchers stepping off as often. I think that's a cool rule. I know you don't agree with it. I can see you smiling. You know, I'm fine with these rules. I even like the bigger bases.
Oh, here that's all. Why do we need bigger bases? I want to hear why do we need bigger bases?
Let me explain to you. Because it reduces the number of injuries. You know, if someone's sliding into bases, they have more, you know, they have more space around the bases now. There's more
space that you can hit to break a finger or something or trip
but
over.
There's more separation between the player that's sliding into the base and the player that's trying to, you know, apply the tag. If you know what I'm saying, you know. So I like the bigger bases. I think that rule was implemented because of safety. You know, I think baseball was thinking safety there by implementing that rule. I mean, I know all of these rules are debatable. You know, there's people who agree with it and there's other people who don't agree with it. But a lot of people are not acceptable to change. A lot of people like the game to stay the way it was.
To me, though, it's not just about change. To me, it's just if we're going to make changes, let's make changes to the things that can really affect the game. But and some of the changes we're making, it's like, okay, bigger bases. Now we're little leaguers, and we need bigger bases so nobody gets hurt. Now, come on.
That's my take on it.
I mean, seriously, I don't understand that. Oh, they're playing. They're playing extra right now, field.
But back to the shift thing. You really don't think that these players will be able to showcase more of their talent now?
No, because you can showcase your talent no matter where you're standing on the field. They're going to make that play if they can make a play on the ball. They're going to make the play on the ball no matter where they're standing at.
I'm more of a fan of a pitcher pitching inside to get the hitter to pull the ball.
Okay.
You know,
you can still do that. But the thing is, they chart where these guys usually hit the ball. They're trying to predict where the guy's going to hit the ball.
But I'm also more of a fan that likes to see the ball getting put in play. And the shift is designed to get an out.
What's the object of the game when you're on defense?
To get the out. But to my point, that takes away from the excitement of the game. So I get why Major League Baseball.
Oh my goodness, exciting!
Is implementing the rule change. I get it.
So next we're just going to say that in football the quarterback can't be sacked because if he gets hurt, it takes away from the excitement of the game.
That's a good one, Judge. That's a good one. I said Judge. I'm speaking of myself, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, and I like some of the changes. I like some of the changes they made. I just don't like all the. I don't know, man. To me, baseball is a game of strategy, and when you start taking too much of the strategy out to try to speed it up or for this or that, I think it could change the game to ways where I don't think people want to see. It's already getting to where it's all home run or strikeouts.
Yeah, but see
you don't see baseball no more.
But Chris, they're trying to appease a younger fan base, and a younger fan base is not going to sit through today's baseball. So they felt that they needed to modernize the game and make things different, and they did. You know, to try to keep up with these younger folks who are disengaged and uninterested for the simple fact that the game is just too slow for them.
No, you know what the problem is why they don't get young people watching baseball?
You say it's marketing. Marketing has a big part of that too, but it's also the fact that
it's all marketing.
It's
all marketing. A kid could walk up to about any NBA player and know who they are. But they can walk up to 9 or 10 baseball players and not even know who the guys are. Whose fault's that? It's Major League Baseball, and I'll even put it. Hey,
Who
and
the hell
I'll even put it on. I'll even put it on the Players Association as well, because the Players Association should be doing a better job in these bargaining agreements and stuff, and saying, hey, we need to market the game, and we can get more young fans, but just making random rule changes to me is just not how it happens. But hey, that's enough. That's enough whining about baseball. It's baseball anyway.
The game.
Huh?
They're trying to reinvent the game.
Yeah. All right. It don't need to reinvent it. It just needs some other things done.
Marketing.
But
you and I both agree that baseball needs better marketing.
They need a new commissioner, and
they definitely need a new commissioner. I agree. That still doesn't change the fact that I'm,
let me ask you this: the rules. Did they change the extra inning rule about the runner being on second?
I don't like that rule.
No, I don't either. If you're going to put a run, I wouldn't have. If you want to put a runner on base like that, the runner should go to first base.
Right, not second.
You can't already put the runner in scoring position.
What are they trying to do? They're trying to end the game where it won't go all night long, where the teams can't.
That's the whole purpose of that. That was the whole purpose of that rule.
Well, that rule came into effect
after the All-Star game,
during the pandemic, right?
Well, yeah, but a lot of that led to that is when you started getting these All-Star games that started going to 15, 16 innings a few years ago. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
And then they started getting a lot of these extra innings games in season, and then teams getting thin on pitchers. So that's kind of when they went to this rule to kind of get the game over with. That's why they didn't do it in the playoffs.
Right.
But to me, if you put the runner at second, you're giving the offense too big of an advantage because there is a runner already in scoring position. If you want to give them a little bit of an advantage, put a runner on first base. I don't have a big problem with that. But
you put the runner in scoring position by putting them on second.
Yeah. And the reason I don't have a problem putting him on first because he could advance to second, but it also gives the defense a chance for a double play. So to me, it kind of equals it out.
I disagree with putting the runner.
Oh, to me, I wouldn't put a runner nowhere if it was up to me.
You make them earn that spot.
That's how I feel. But I mean, if they're going to put a runner on base,
right.
I think you should put them on first. To me, you don't put a runner on base.
Right. I mean, they gotta come up and get a hit.
Yeah,
they gotta get a base hit to get on base.
And another thing is, as fans, we pay all this money to go watch a game. We don't want a game in because of a coin toss or because somebody was given a runner on base.
Right.
No, we want to see somebody outright win the game. That's when it's most exciting. Not because they won because, they won, but they might not have won if there wouldn't have been a runner on second already. You know what I mean? A clear-cut winner and nobody can whine.
Right. Exactly.
And Damian, no, man. Come on.
Then everybody's happy.
You can't cut the games to 7 innings.
No, see now I disagree with that. I think you keep it at 9. Baseball.
You cut the game to 6 or 7 innings. You know how many people you're taking out of jobs because they're not going to use as many bullpen pitchers.
Right, baseball is meant for.
If you're only playing 6 innings, think about it. If you're only playing 6 innings, they won't even hardly use their bullpen no more.
Baseball is played 9 innings, and it should stay that way. No, I completely disagree with that. You play all 9 innings in baseball. Now, I would say this. I would consider cutting the regular season.
No, I'd go from they play 162 now. They play 162 now. I think they should go down to 125, 130.
Right. And then that way you won't have so much of an overlap going into football season. You'll kind of the games will kind of be the postseason will be wrapping up.
Well, that's another thing I've already said. How much sense does this make?
Right.
I don't know if I've ever gave you this take of mine. Baseball's a summer sport?
Yes.
Okay. So why do we wait? Why do we wait till October and let's play it in these cities where it's cold and we have to start worrying about the weather and the elements.
Right.
When you're gonna have a championship game, I mean, when you want the conditions to be the best they could be, not have to worry about it being 30 degrees outside and players can't feel their fingers and can't hold the ball.
Exactly.
Come on,
Right. And I'm
reschedule.
not a fan. Right. And I'm not a fan of seeing baseball being played in November. And this year, the World Series can end in November. If the series is extended.
That's what I'm saying. And depending on what teams is. Say this happens. We get a Subway Series and both teams are in New York. And you're getting late October. There could be snow on the ground. It could be 35, 40 degrees outside. And that's how we're going to decide who our world champion is after you play 162 games when most of the time you're in perfect conditions. It don't make sense. Shorten your season up and get the season done at the end of September, beginning of October.
Right. I agree.
I don't understand that's something I never understood why they do that. But anyway, Sunday, man, it's finally here. Football. Get a full day of football on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. My Colts play at 1:00. So if you want to get a hold of me, you better get a hold of me before 1. You probably ain't gonna get a hold of me till after 4 then because
we know
you watch this football. I'm ready for a regular season game. A lot of good games this weekend. What games catch your eye? Maybe that you're most excited about on Sunday. I know a game I'm kind of excited about seeing that is maybe not two of the better teams, but I want to see Baker going back to Cleveland. I think that's going to be interesting to see. You do have the Cowboys and the Bucks. That's going to be interesting just because I want to see what the Tampa Bay's offensive line looks like. But there's a lot of good games this weekend. What's a couple that maybe catch your eye?
Yeah, well, remember on when was it? Wednesday, I said that I was interested in seeing the Packers versus the Vikings. But here's another game.
I thought you said you was interested in seeing the Rams get beat by the Bills. I got that look.
Yeah, you got me to make that face. You know what face that? You know what kind of face that was? That was the bottom face.
But though, honestly, the game you just mentioned, that's a good one. Minnesota and Green Bay, I think it's going to be a real interesting game.
Yeah, but I talked about that on Wednesday, so I'm going to pick a different team, another team that I'm interested in seeing, and that would be the Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers. Week 1. We're talking week 1 of rematch of last season's playoff elimination game. So I mean that's a game to keep your eye on. Both of these teams have a legitimate shot at finishing their division on top in the AFC West, a very stacked division, one that's loaded with so much star power and a great quarterback on every team, it seems like. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely be watching the Chargers versus the Raiders, and it's gonna be on here because the Chargers are in our market, so that game will be on TV for sure.
I'll get it. It's not in my market, but I'll get it.
Right. And the game is Sunday at 4:25 Eastern time. That's 1:25 my time. Sunday is also 9/11, by the way, so it's going to be an emotional day. I'm sure all the NFL teams will pay tribute before the game. But all eyes will be on the Fresno connection, baby, and that is Derek Carr, reuniting with his former buddy and teammate, wide receiver, Davin. Did I say Davin?
Yeah.
God, what is wrong with me tonight? What is going on? I mean, Devontae Adams. You know what I mean. You people know what I mean. Devontae Adams.
TFO's one point from getting beat.
Is he?
Yep. Match point.
And it's going to be over?
Yep. Match point number 4 right here. He has to come back and win this game here. Up. He got beat. He got beat in the semifinals. Yep.
Oh man, I was really rooting for him.
Got beat in the semifinals. Hey, but like I said, it went 5 sets. So it was it wasn't like he got He didn't get blown out by the number 3 player. He was right there with forced him to 5 sets to pull it off. So
it was a great run for him.
Yeah, it wasn't like he got there and got killed. He played a good game, came up a little short, but another game kind of interests me, the Broncos and the Seahawks, just because I want to see how that goes with Russell Wilson going back there.
That's why that game is so hyped up, because he's playing against his former team.
Another game that could be interesting is the Chiefs and Cardinals.
Absolutely, I think the Cardinals could actually.
What worries me about the Cardinals, especially at the beginning of the series, is that they don't have DeAndre Hopkins for his first 6 games.
Yeah,
because he got suspended for the PEDs or whatever.
But you still got a pretty good squad out there.
He was sitting on the couch. He was sitting on the couch juicing with Barry Bonds and got popped for it. Got suspended for 6 games.
Yep. I remember when that story broke too, and that story didn't get as much coverage as Fernando Tatis Jr. story did.
Nope. Damien says best game of the week will be the Broncos and the Seahawks.
We'll see. I think a lot of these matchups are great.
Honestly, I think the best game.
They're just great matchups.
To me, the best game of the week is probably going to be either. I would go with Minnesota and Green Bay or the Chargers game. Chargers and Raiders.
Green Bay is going to be really good. Yeah, Chargers Rams going to be really good. You looking at Devontae Adams and what he can do, and like I said, you saw what he did last year. Adams finished. He finished second in the NFL with 123 catches for the Packers last season. So, he looked solid. Then he demanded a trade, and that's how he ended up with the Raiders. But the Raiders, man, they got some nice pieces on their team. You got the hulking tight end Darren Waller. Then you got the crafty Hunter Renfro. I mean, look, they got an intimidating receiver court. They really do. And I mean, this team is one to be reckoned with. I think I always say this about Derek Carr. I think he's very unappreciated. I think he's undervalued. He's better than a lot of people say he is.
I agree. I do. I agree with that, and I agree. I think Kirk Cousins is the same way. I think Kirk Cousins is better than what most people give him credit for as well. And I know, and Carr's been treated that same way. I just don't understand it. Damien says, "What about the Saints versus the Falcons? Saints without Kamara and the Falcons without Ridley. That could be an interesting game. I still think the Saints are a pretty good team, so I think the Falcons are going to struggle against the Saints. But
I think the Saints could blow out the Falcons.
Like I said, but it's going to be fun. I can't wait till Sunday because it's going to be a fun day. First full day of football. But before we get out of here, Judge, do you have any final thoughts for the people?
Man, it's been a blast once again. I feel like this show is getting better each week. I feel like we're growing. And, you guys make it possible for us. You guys make it exciting. I look forward to coming on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and joining my good friend Gonzo for an episode of Gonzo and the Judge. We have a lot of fun doing this show. This show was another instant success. It's been a smashing success. For us. Gonzo, it's already been a month since we officially launched this show.
Yeah, we had to take a week off because of me being sick, but other than that, we've been at it every time.
Judge, how am I feeling after last night? I'm recovering. I understand.
Before we get out of here, actually, let me ask you this question because it goes with that.
I understand that everything in life is a process, and you're not going to win every game. It's humanly impossible to win every game, and sometimes you're going to blow a week 1 game. So
let me ask you this, though, Judge.
What's
because
up?
it goes along with this. What did your expectation? Has your expectation of the Rams changed? By
No,
seeing them last night, did that change anything with what you thought
no,
before the season started?
no, not at all. Not at all. That would be an overreaction. We got a very small sample size. There's still a lot of season left. There's
No, I
still
agree.
more games to be played.
Damian, I haven't read what Diaz has said about Chimaev missing weight. I will say this: I'm more excited about Diaz fighting Ferguson than I was about Diaz and Chimaev. I think that Diaz and Ferguson fight's going to be a better fight than what Diaz and Chimaev is going to be. So it didn't. I actually it made the card better when all this happened. I know it sucks for the UFC because you build this big card up and then it basically all falls apart and now. Like we done a preview and prediction show earlier, me and Pride did at 3:00 this afternoon. Well, 3 of those fights that we talked about aren't even fights no more. So, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of changes, but I liked how the UFC handled it. They didn't rush and just do something. They took their time, figured out a plan and went with it. So I did like the way it was handled there. They didn't just make like a knee jerk reaction. But like honestly, I kind of think it made the pay-per-view tomorrow maybe even a little bit better because I like these matchups better than I did the matchups that we're going to have. But also, don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be live 8 p.m. Eastern doing a live watch-along and reaction to the UFC 279 pay-per-view. So if you're a fight fan, you want to come talk some fights, jump on with us tomorrow night. You'll be able to find it. Sunday, if you're a Colts fan or if you're just a football fan, we're going to be doing a live reaction to the Colts and Houston game, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So come join us for that on Sunday. Should be a good time. Dad says, I agree, Judge, but he worries about a Super Bowl hangover.
I do too.
That stuff can happen.
Yep.
So make sure you join us on Sunday for football. And Monday we'll be back on the normal shows. And Monday night, when me and Judge are on Monday night, the Monday night football game will be almost over by the time we come on. So we'll have that to talk about, plus all the whole weekend of the NFL. So Monday's going to be a packed show. So make sure you join us Monday night. Please hit the subscribe button on both or all 3 YouTube channels: the Sports Judge YouTube, or the Gonzo Sports Room YouTube, and the All Sports All Plays YouTube.
Gonzo, don't forget to tell them to also like and follow ASAP Sports Network.
Yep.
Hit the subscribe button. It's real.
Yeah, that was the third. That was my third one. Was they Sports All Plays Network. Subscribe that.
I beat you.
Like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody in the comments section. If there's something you want to hear us talk about, get it in the comment section. If we don't get to it that night, we will get to it. I'll write it down, and it could be something, maybe a topic for the next show. But keep your eye out. There's always some changes being made. Follow us on social media because that's where we put all of our announcements at.
Yeah.
And you just never know what's going to pop up.
Give us some topics, and we'll love to talk about them on this show.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Judge, you have anything before we sign off for tonight?
No, I only have one more thing to say. Much love to you all. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be positive. Do great things.
All right. Yep. Stay safe. If you're going out with some friends to have a drink, be safe. Don't drive. It's not worth it. You're either going to ruin your life or ruin somebody else's life. So I'm all about having a good time. I'm all about having a good time. Be smart about it.
Don't be stupid. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a statistic.
Exactly. You do not want to do that. And that's not what I wanted to do either. There it is. But no, I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. We will be back Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern for more Gonzo and the Judge. Check us out on ASAP Sports, All Plays Network, the Gonzo Sports Room, the Sports Judge at YouTube. tomorrow, check out our UFC stuff. If you're a UFC fight fan, if you're not, go check out the guys over on Unscripted. They're live at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. You can find out in the All Sports All Plays as well, and at the Unscripted Facebook page. They're a great group of guys over there, so make sure you give them a check their shit out as well. But we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, or not tomorrow, Monday. See you guys Monday night. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe.
All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're out in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All Sports All Plays.